Hey, coaches. One of the reasons I got more excited about coaching early on is some early content that I was going through around self improvement and professional development. And something that stood out to me, I can't remember where I heard it or how it was all put together, but it was the sense of that statement of these days it all just depends on who you know. And the fact that that statement is very true and in many ways a very good thing. All of our exchanges are based on who we know. And I think we've talked about this before, but what is especially important as we look at something like PI, we've seen that before, the performance, image, and exposure. In order to have good exposure, to promote oneself well, you have to have a well defined image, a well defined professional brand. If everything is about who knows you, then how do they know you? Is the question that should, in many ways, come before. How do I want to be known? And then, who knows that about me? When working with professionals in the corporate space, we want to support them as they go through a variety of transitions. And this idea of coaching around professional branding is very valuable to those going through a promotion cycle, wanting to prepare for that. Someone who is looking at stepping away from a company, or maybe even someone who's wanting to do well in an overall life transition as they move from one part of their life to the next part of their life, anywhere that they need to bridge into a new space. But the identification of a professional brand can also be valuable in repositioning oneself within their own current role to be better known for what they most love doing with their work and how they can best contribute to the team. As well, finally, one of the best reasons to work on one's professional brand is just to have more life satisfaction. It's more fun to know what you are known for and really work at that game, not to just see your existence in your life around your job and your job title, but around how you are known, your brand, and to be able to choose that mindfully and to share it as well. Whenever a client is going through a transition or is demonstrating not a lack of satisfaction with how others perceive them in their work, I tend to bring out this line of questioning. It's less of a tool and more of a series of questions that I might get some permission to share before walking through them, just to stimulate the discussion around one's professional brand. So as we step into this, there is a bit of a check-in, a briefing, and offer with coaching around professional brand. And what we'll demonstrate here is only the tip of the iceberg. This conversation will tend to surface some things that the client is going to be able to work on beyond just having a basic awareness of the brand. It might surface a need for a broader purpose, a long-term vision, an understanding of their strengths and weaknesses, their vision for how they want to grow as a professional longer term, and a variety of other things, some of the obstacles that might get in the way, the partnerships they need to have, the tough conversations they'll need to be having, and so on. So see this as a way to stimulate the discussion around image, and then you would co-create maybe a series of sessions, series of exercises with the client to be able to move things forward as they build the brand that they want. So the setup. I'll often, again, if the client is not very satisfied, they are getting ready for a transition, wanting to be promoted, I would usually let them know that we could look at their professional brand. And there's a series of questions that we could ask, and then we could set an agenda for the next few sessions as we work on the things that they need to work on to have a solid professional brand. As we get buy-in around this as a tentative agenda, then I'll ask a series of questions, and let's look at those here. First, how do others see me? If a client has a hard time answering this question to start, that might be a great exercise for them to work on. They can build a little simple questionnaire. They could participate in a 360. We've seen those before. But yeah, they could just send a quick message or have some coffee chats with some of their team members. What are they most known for? What would you say is my biggest weakness or area of development? What do you feel I do best on as a team member? So they could offer a little questionnaire to their team members to get a better picture of how they are known by others. And that's very important because that's a very distinct question from how do I want to be known? So as you ask your client, how do others see you? Or have them ask themselves, how do others see me? Then you can move on to what kinds of things are you known for on this team? Like I said, as part of a questionnaire, what might be the weaknesses or the areas of development that the team sees? What are the strengths? Where can people most rely on you? When people think of you, what might be 3 words that come to their mind about you? You want to put these things on the table, and you may shine the flashlight of these questions across a team. So with peers, direct reports, with people who might just barely know you in the company, and of course, your manager and skip level manager. Get a sense of how others perceive this client, help them surface that awareness, and then they can take a moment to reflect. How well does what you are saying about yourself resonate with how you want to be known? How well does this image align with who you want to be for your team? And ultimately, what do you want? What do you want in your work? What do you want in your brand? How do you want to position yourself in this company? How do you want to position yourself in others' perspective? Now, with this kind of coaching, we're not saying that through magical thinking, they're going to change other people's minds about them. But if we have a sense of where things are now, we can begin looking at where we'd like to go, where the client would like to go with their professional brand. And then we ask the key question of, therefore, what would it take to begin working towards that type of reputation, that kind of professional brand? Where is the gap between your current brand and what you'd like it to become? All throughout this experience, they might have a hard time answering the question. So with the first question, how do others perceive you? Again, you can do 360, you can do some questionnaires and discussions. But with other questions, there might be a sense of, I don't know. I don't know what I want. I don't know what's in the way from here to there. At that point, the coach can suggest alternative tools, or the coach and client can co-create a series of sessions to address the bridge that needs to be built from the current professional brand to where the client would like to take their professional brand in future. With this session, we're going to be looking at one aspect, and that is how to clarify one's strengths and even one's weaknesses as part of building one's professional brand. In my experience in coaching a variety of professionals and people in corporate, from mid-level managers up to executive level managers or executive level leaders, the understanding of one's strengths and weaknesses and the ability to articulate those strengths and weaknesses can have a profound impact on how others perceive you and the opportunities that are provided you. Thank you for watching this video. I hope it begins to stimulate your thinking around coaching around professional branding. I would encourage you to write this down, write these questions down, tuck them away as a series of questions, a line of questioning that you could offer a client in future as you see them go through a transition. It can be a good exercise to set the stage for future work. Thank you so much for serving your clients, and thank you for growing as a coach.